Well, hello to Cassandra Plock, artist Cassandra Plock. I am starting you as our first interview on our YouTube channel because you were the first artist to paint live on our Twitch channel.
Yeah.
So I thought we would just start from the beginning. Come back around. So I met Cassandra Plock through the space that we had, Kaleidoscope Venue for the Arts, which is no more, but we're kind of going out into cyberspace instead. And I've been watching Cassandra just keep on going. And she does some amazing woodworking. Can you actually, is it too difficult to hold some of those up so people can see them a little closer?
This is the one that I've.
Oh, wow. That's the Stingray, right? That's the one you're working on right now.
Yeah, this is the one that's diving into the wave.
Very good. Very good. And then I know we have some octopi lovers out there. That thing looks so huge.
Yeah, from there. Yeah, there we go. Maybe if I can.
Wow. I don't know if I can zoom. Wow, that's amazing. Yes. Yes. So talk a little bit about one of the things I wanted to talk to you about to encourage other artists was finding your niche or finding your medium, I should say. It's not your niche, it's your medium. Your niche is very much aquatic life, sea life. You just really love sea life for the most part. Is there a favorite? Like you're doing stingrays right now, but is there a favorite?
No,
You
no,
just
not
kind of
necessarily.
go
Yeah,
from one to one.
that's right. Yes. Yeah.
Because I think you did dolphins for quite a while, and then now you're doing this, and you did the octopi in between, I believe.
Yes,
right?
that was just seeing the octopus in the wood. So yeah, my husband wanted to make this into a table, and it was just sitting out in the yard, and I was looking at him like, that actually looks like a upside down octopus, because this is the trunk, and then these
wow.
are branches. So it had 7 branches. Added the 8th leg, or the 8th arm, right, or tentacle, and there you have it. That's how I was inspired by the shape of it. So
Yes.
that's how Franklin came. I named him Franklin, but my daughter Franklin. That's how he came to be. And the stingrays were actually a stump, and I really wanted to get a feel for water movement in the wood, because wood's such a solid thing, and it's just it's with the grain, it's just really beautiful to get that movement in it. And when I looked at that stump, I was just seeing waves. So spotted eagle rays, well, they jump. So I thought that was a great way to capture that movement.
The movement of the water.
Yes.
Yeah, so you're very much approaching it like some marble sculptors do, where they buy a piece of marble and they look at it and they basically see what's in it. And then I think there's a famous artist, I couldn't quote them at the minute, I'd have to look it up, but that said, I don't sculpt, I don't create these things, they're already in the marble, I just take everything else away, basically. And that's just revealing what I'm already seeing in the marble. So you're seeing that in the wood and then bringing it forward.
If I'm left to my own devices, and if I'm left to my own devices, often I'll get requests for stuff, like see.
So then you have to go pick a piece of wood knowing what it's going to be.
Right.
I guess.
Right. Or I'll have the concept in my mind ahead of time and then pick an appropriate piece of wood for that as well. That's certainly happened. Like with the dolphins, they mate for life, from what I understand. And they were going to be given to a couple that was getting married. So I wanted to, it was really easy to find long logs, right, to carve those out. Those are pretty easy to see in the wood, to be honest with you. Making sure that I had enough material to work with was a little bit of a challenge with them, for sure, because you think that they're like torpedoes, but you also want to get some movement in them, which so their body bends a little bit too. So there's all sorts of things to consider with that. I had a bass fish that I carved for somebody that asked me to carve the fish, and that was fun to do. Getting movement in that, in the body of the fish, was cool.
Yeah, that would be amazing. So I met you before, pretty early on when you were starting the wood. And I just remember when you started doing those first pieces, I thought you have really found your medium.
Thank you.
And you found it in a fateful way,
Yeah.
just with the access to the wood. Do you want to tell people a little bit about that?
So my husband went to a friend of his home to pull down some of those trees. And it was after Hurricane Irma, I believe. Was that Irma or yes, either Irma or Ian. It was one of the I hurricanes. Which we have so many, but so he went out there, pulled the trees down, and brought the wood home as like a I've got something for you type thing, like for your to build frames for your paintings. And
oh wow, so that was the original intention.
That was the original intent with those. He brought home a routing table to get the corners or the edges of the frame of the wood. He ripped a couple boards. He took the log and processed himself. And normally you would need a mill to process timber. And there's my husband out front with a chainsaw and just hacking away at this. So you did a great job. So we had all this wood, and one day I was just kind of bored. My mother-in-law, I don't remember if it was Mother's Day or if it was her birthday. I don't recall, but it was a holiday. And I just started carving on a little brick of wood, a turtle for her. And that's pretty much, I had a drum set to work with. And
had you done woodworking before, or you just started feeling your way into it?
I had done a refinishing project when I got married. My best friend found some seahorses at a thrift store that were carved out of coconut wood, and they were painted, and the paint was really thick and old and chipped up. So I removed all of the paint off of it and refinished them with a stain and a varnish. And there was a lot of Dremel work involved in that. It wasn't true like hand carving, traditional carving, but there was a lot of Dremel work. So that gave me the confidence to start digging into this piece of wood, because I'm like, oh, I guess if I've used the Dremel before, surely I can do this too. And that's
so you had used the Dremel just to basically clean the paint off of this thing to refinish it, and that gave you a feel for maybe carving.
Yes, I guess
wow.
so. Yeah. I'm assuming that's where the confidence came from, because that's the only other time I really worked in carving. I had done some sculpture work when I was younger, messing around with clay and stuff, but that's about it.
So you just had a natural ability.
Yeah, he watched me do it, and he's like, oh, you're pretty good at that. And so our anniversary the next year, he bought me a chisel set. And I'm like, okay, well, I'll give it, why not? I'll take a little aggression out in the garage and let's see what happens. And it was actually, in the beginning, it was hard. My friend commissioned me for a bee for her parents.
Oh, wow.
For her boyfriend's parents. And I didn't have a vice. I had some, I don't have any close to me. I had some of that non-slip pads So I was out here in the garage, and my husband had bought me the chisel and mallet set, and I had that non-slip pad, and it took me a long time to get through that dang thing. I finally got myself a vise like after that, and then it was a lot easier to get through this wood. It was really a challenge, but I stuck to it. And then once that bee was done, there was a lot of people who had interest in what I was doing. Like people that live near me walking by, they're like, "What are you doing?" Like, I'm like, "Check it out." And I tell them about it.
Be.
I had a couple people come and commission me. And so seeing all the interest, not only from like my community, immediate community, but because I had set up social media, there was outside interest in what I was doing a lot more. I joined a few woodworking communities on social media, and they were absolutely incredible. So it was very, I'm not saying, I don't know, they just seemed more inviting than a lot of the painting community. And I don't know if that's the competitiveness of the painting community, or maybe it's the age demographic too, because the age demographic with the woodworking community I found was a little bit older than me. And so they were just really just very warm and wanting to share all this knowledge. You post up a picture with some questions, and you've got like 15 people answering, and just really a lot of support from that community. I really noted that in the first few years.
I wonder, like I said, you are such a great story, or such a great example of finding your medium. And I wonder not only the competition of the painting community, but within that painting community, you're going to have a lot of people that just haven't found their medium. And so they're frustrated because they're stuck in painting, and they may feel like, oh, I'm not that good at painting, and I'm frustrated, and I have all this creativity that I want to express, but maybe they haven't found their medium.
Yeah, I can see that. I have over the year, and the week that I had to prepare to meet with you gave me a lot of time to just think about my life as an artist, because I've been creating since I was little, tiny little girl. And it's really been a dream and passion of mine for my entire life. But when I look back, I actually thought, I'm like, should I change my medium to multimedia artist? Because I look at it and I see I've got watercolors, I've got acrylics, I've got some oil paintings, I've done cartoon work, character. Like I thought for a little while I might want to be an illustrator. I've been all over the place with my art, and I'm okay with that because I feel like it's part of my journey and learning.
Right.
Really, it's being a constant student of art in general, because I feel like even if it wasn't woodwork, as long as I was creating, as much as I love wood, so long as I'm creating, I feel like I'm being fulfilled. I really do genuinely look for opportunities to create in everything I do.
Yeah, I don't think the artist thing is, to me, it's not like another skill set to where I want to be a mechanic, or I want to do this, or I want to do that. To me, it's like you're born with this brain. You're an artist regardless of whether you create or don't create, because of how you see the world, and the creativity is all there.
Yes,
it just depends on whether you open the faucet or you don't open the faucet, and it doesn't change your brain. And it doesn't. And there are a lot of artists that I speak to too that are frustrated because they're all over the map. Because the ideas are just constantly flowing. I think I want to do this. I want to do this. I want to do this. I want to do this.
Yeah.
And so I just think it's the artist's brain was just constantly
impatient, maybe with ourselves.
Well, just coming up with so many ideas. Every day you might have a dozen ideas. If you wrote down every idea that you ever had, you never have enough time in your lifetime to actually complete all the projects. So I think it gets frustrating I have all these things speaking to me, and there's only so many I'm going to be able to.
You can only do one thing at a time. I do tell myself you can only do one thing at a time, and you need to finish what you start. Finish it. Don't just leave it. Actually finish it, because I've done that where I've got 3 or 4 things going on, and that's total chaos.
Well, and one of the most popular memes that I put up this past year was the one where it said, it was a play on the Matrix where it had the red pill and the blue pill, and it was saying, start another new project or finish the one that you already started. And then it goes, did you just take both pills?
At the same, yeah,
Because, yeah.
it's really